What's up?
Everybody, and I was muted for that whole 3 seconds that I started talking because I am a professional.
We're all adults here.
All right, everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Muricast with Zach Hansen. I am your host, Zach Hansen, and with me is a buddy of mine who I've met here on the interwebs. His name is Kauffodile. How about you introduce yourself, buddy?
Not a murderer, even though he met me on the internet. Marine vet. I like to play video games. Not very good.
Yeah, neither am I.
Oh, shit.
So, tonight's episode is kind of going to be kind of like a proof of concept. We're still kind of working out the kinks. As far as who I'm going to be bringing on, this and that, it's really the whole goal is to just talk to interesting people, hang out with my friends, basically just have fun. And so I figured, if all these other idiots out in California can have 6-7 podcasts going at the same time, I can manage to do one, right?
No. They're sitting in multi-million-dollar studios.
Nah.
And I'm in a room the size of a jail cell.
Yeah, I am too. I got a cat sleeping on my printer.
I have a blind cat wandering around here somewhere.
She's going to chew on your LED lights again.
Nope, she's eating.
Hey, Paul. What is it?
Vive.
Vive.
Yeah.
We'll call him Vive.
Vive
How you doing, buddy?
Apollo.
All right, so
What's on the docket for today?
the docket is to kind of just be as free-flowing as possible, really. But there was one thing I did want to talk to you about with you being retired military as well. Mm-hmm. Is it retired? Would you consider us retired?
No, because no longer active is what I would consider it.
Yeah. So with us no longer being active in the military anymore, there was what's the word?
Yep, there you go.
Paper.
Yeah.
Paper published down in Fort Benning, where I went through basic training as an infantryman. They're getting rid of the shark attack.
I heard about that, and I think that's stupid.
Right. So, from what I understand, they developed this because of COVID, because they're trying to, keep everybody 6 feet apart, this and that. So drill sergeants haven't been able to just get in their faces and fucking just scream and spit all over their faces.
How it should be.
Exactly. That's exactly what I went through. But even the shark attack, using quotes here, shark attack that I went through, I wouldn't consider it that much of a big deal. They definitely seemed restrained. But so what they developed is this thing called the first 100 yards, where they're what they're doing is when privates, or actually they refer to them as trainees now.
Why not privates?
I don't fucking know. Just dumb.
I'm just confused by that.
No. So when the trainees get off the buses, they apparently make them drop their shit, and then
what shit do you bring to boot camp?
So when I left, so they made us leave, if I remember right, there was one duffel bag that you had to have certain shit in that duffel bag. That got shipped ahead of you. But you had another duffel bag and your laundry bag.
Okay.
And then you would sit in the bus and you'd have your face buried in it like this. So as to not know where shit is, they'll drive 15 minutes around.
Yeah, confuse you,
disorient you, when really the fucking CTU, your barracks are only fucking 2 minutes away.
Right.
You get out.
Same thing with Paris Island.
Yeah. And so apparently what they do now is they make you drop your shit. They might smoke you by making you 10 fucking push-ups for once or twice. And now what they're going to make you pick up MRE boxes and sprint with them. Apparently this is to build A team building exercise. Let me see if I can find the article real quick.
As soon as you get there, you're already doing a team building exercise. I thought the first step was to break you down.
That's exactly what I thought. While you search for this article, tell me what your first day of boot camp.
Okay. So I left for Paris Island on January 6th. So you go stay in the hotel at MEPS after they do the whole processing thing. Then they put us on a plane after breakfast, flew in, got on a bus, rode around the bus for however long. And when we got within like 2-3 miles of the base, we had to put our heads down. And you don't get to bring anything. The only thing you're allowed to bring, so you bring your ID, your social security card, you can have your phone, and then you have a little packet. So they give you a manila envelope or folder, and it's sealed. It has all your paperwork in it that boot camp needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you show up, you're just in your jeans, because you have to wear there's a regulation. You have to wear jeans, a polo shirt, belt, tennis shoes, and you're not supposed to wear a hat. So you get there, you get off the bus, you get on the yellow footprints. And when you're on the yellow footprints, obviously everybody knows that that's where all the shit starts. You start getting yelled at, screamed at. Then they do the speech after you're in your formation, where it says, they basically give you a speech where it's like, once you enter these doors, you can no longer go through them because this is the beginning of recruit training. Because that's what they call us, recruits too, but it's been that way since the beginning of time. So you go through these big metal hatches, you walk in, you sit down, and then you start filling out all the necessary paperwork, your social security number, your name, who you want, if something happens to you, who do you want to tell first, stuff like that, all that bullshit.
What, the Red Cross card?
Yeah, basically, like, if you want your grandma to know that you died in boot camp, they're going to tell you. They're going to be like, okay, write her name down or her phone number. And then you go through processing, you go get your uniforms, your sea bags, your boots, all the shit they're going to need for boot camp. So the whoobies, the tarp, we had the fucking tarp for some reason. Canteens, canteen cup. You get your razors, you get your shampoo, get your soap bars.
Do they actually give you guys that stuff, or they make you go to the shop and pay for it?
The very first one is they give to you. So they give you like a bottle of whatever cheap shampoo is being used by the government that month. And then you get issued your uniforms, you put that shit on with no name tapes, no rank, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We only get to wear boots for like the first 2 weeks. So you have to wear Go Fasters at all times.
Go Fasters?
Go Fasters, yeah. So the New Balance bullshits.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they're Go Fasters, and you're learning all this new lingo. Like, I've never heard of shoes called Go Fasters. I never heard of the moonbeam, your flashlight. They're like, it's a fucking moonbeam. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Is the moon in here? No? Okay. It's a fucking flashlight. Your ink stick. God, that was so dumb. Yeah, your ink stick. You get issued paper so you can write letters home.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go do your phone call. The real quick, this is recruit Jordan Kaufman. I've made it safely to Paris Island. Please don't send any packages or mail. You'll receive mail from me with my mailing address in a few weeks. Blah, blah, blah. Then you hang up and you go get your fucking haircut. And that shit sucks. Cause
did they have the guru barbers where they were like, they had the vacuum attached to the clippers?
Fuck no.
No?
Fuck no. So the very first time you get your haircut is by the worst barbers I've ever seen in my life. These dudes, so there's 4 dudes and a chick. And if you got the lady, she didn't care if you had a mole, a zit, whatever was on. Like, you could have had another head coming out of your head, and she would have buzzed that shit just immediately. And I don't know if they do it because it's funny to them or they got to get through it or whatever, but they push the clippers down as hard as they can into your head, and they peel that shit back. And you're like, okay, fuck. And I grew my hair out for boot camp because I knew it was the last time I was going to have long hair until
Right.
4 years later, however long I was going to stay in at the time. And so I went in with fucking long ass hair. They shaved all that shit off, and they slap you on the head with that blue shit that kills bacteria.
Yeah.
And of course you're bleeding and you're just burning, and they're like, okay, go wait outside, and you got to wait outside for like 200 plus recruits. So you're just standing there. It's middle of the night or early morning because you don't get sleep for the first 72 hours. They don't let you sleep. So you don't even get a barracks room, not even a barracks. You don't even get your squad bay until the third day.
Okay.
So then they take you in to your squad bay. You set up your rack, which is wrong always. They had us throw all of our boots into a pile for something, I don't know, just to fuck with us. They made us make our racks. Then we went and got our rifles. And then they have you fuck around with your rifle for about 7 days straight, where it's just hold it out straight. Hold it by just 2 fingers. Oh, don't drop it. And then you're basically getting your shit pushed in all day.
Right.
From beginning to end. It's like Full Metal Jacket, but more spit.
Oh, of course I fucked this up.
What happened?
No, so I went to switch over to the TV screen so they could see the article. And of course I didn't put your fucking camera on there.
Well, that's easily fixable. You can do that right now.
Yeah. So
while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a funny story about on the bus ride to Parris Island. So all of us fly in together, and we know we're flying in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we all have the manila folder, so everybody knows who the recruits are for that are going to Parris Island. We had this guy. His name was Taylor, and he was 4'6". Like, no shit, 4'6". And he shows up wearing USMC cowboy boots. He's wearing a USMC belt buckle and a Parris Island yellow t-shirt and a cowboy hat. He had a cowboy hat on too. So this motherfucker, we get on the bus
cowboy,
and we're looking at him and we're like, dude, you can't have any of that shit. Like, get rid of the belt buckle. Change your shoes. Do you have different shoes? He's like, no, like, this is all I have. And we're like, well, I guess you're gonna get fucked. And as soon as he stepped off the bus with his USMC boots, it was an absolute nightmare. He got swarmed, and they're like, take off your boots right now. And he's like, he takes them off, and he's just in socks, standing there in yellow footprints. I'm like, I swear to God, if this guy is in my squad, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. And of course, he was in my platoon, all 4'6" of them, and he fucked shit up so fast all the time.
Yeah, like, your own Gober pile.
Basically, and he had a stutter and a lisp at the same time. So like they'd be like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Taylor, sir," and you're like, "Jesus, fuck!" Like I'm gonna kill you for them. Like you're fucking my day up. And it was ridiculous because he was just, I don't know. I don't even think he made it after, because he went to be a machine gunner, so he went to the SOI.
Mm-hmm.
And last time I saw him was on Facebook, and he worked for the oil lines.
Oh, at least he found something then.
I don't know, man. He was a nut job. Then he lost his voice at one point, and he sounded like a squeaky toy. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm trying not to laugh, but you see this grown man squeaking in the corner trying to yell, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna bust up laughing, and then I'm gonna get smoked, and it's gonna be his fault.
We had a guy who was the exact opposite as far as his voice. Fuck, what was his name? Kuahara. He's from, I can't remember what country he was from, but dude had the deepest fucking voice I had ever heard.
Like radio star voice?
Like, he's down here.
Like the Mortal Kombat voice?
Yeah, and then like the drill sergeants are just fucking with him. They're just like, sorry, what? Huh? I can't hear you. Yes, drill sergeant. Louder! He basically can't scream any louder than that.
Right, he can't go up an octave to get where they want him to be.
He can't. He ended up he ended up dropping out. So we're all there as as infantry recruits.
Yeah.
And the of course I forgot to add that too. And I don't know what it was, but
Is that
he
how you
just
guys do it by MOS?
Yeah, it's by MOS. Well, at least for infantry. Infantry, we go through what's called one station unit training.
Yeah.
So it's basic training and advanced individual training school all in one course. Apparently, they've made it longer since I was there because it was 14 weeks when I was there.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's like, reception battalion and shit like that. But apparently they're saying it's like 16 weeks now, which, how dare you?
Make it longer?
Yeah. If I found out, like, my last week that there was 2 extra fucking weeks. But, okay, so this is what I was talking about. Okay. It's on military.com. No more drill sergeant shark attack. Army moves towards kinder basic training start.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Army has replaced the chaotic reception recruits entering basic training have long received from shouting drill sergeants with a training event designed to create a bond with their teammates. Day one of basic combat training has always been a rite of passage involving menacing groups of drill sergeants descending upon terrified recruits, yelling commands, ordering trainees to perform push-ups and other exercises with packed duffel bags strapped to their backs, which I remember, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, like your sea bags?
Yeah, the fucking the big stupid green duffel bags.
Yeah. Did you guys have a regulation on those? They had to look a certain way.
As far as I can remember, as like my basic training unit, it had to have our name, last 4 on the side.
Yeah.
And then also painted on the bottom.
Yeah.
Painted, then spray painted. Other than that, we had to have our. It was a card that like just basically had name, last 4, company, and platoon. So if you lost your shit, they'd figure it out, then come fuck your life up.
So the regulation for us was that it couldn't look like you shoved shit in there. It had to keep its original shape, as if like if it had cardboard in it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to make it so it stood up straight on its own, and the bottom had to be flat. And you had to figure out how to do it while being screamed at, and it fucking pissed me off because we're all brand new. This is all culture shock, and they're like, you don't know how to stuff a sea bag. I'm like, I could put clothes in a bag. What do you mean? And they're like, no, it looks like shit. Dump it out. You're like, fuck you. Well, you can't say that, but
right.
And then you're sitting there. I think I'm 19. I'm 19, and these dudes are just absolutely pushing my shit in, trying to get this duffel bag filled of just useless shit. I'm like, I fucked up. I shouldn't be here.
Every recruit, private, sailor, airman, they all have that fucking moment. My moment was, so for me, I went to I dropped out of high school to take care of my mom.
Yeah.
So in order for me to actually go, I had to go to what was called the National Guard GED Plus program, where basically it was go to Arkansas. Yeah, Camp Robinson, that's Arkansas. So go to Arkansas for 3 weeks, basically get paid to take my GED and pass it. And at the same time, the drill sergeants and NCOs there, they set you up for success to what to expect. So aced the GED, flew out to Fort Benning. Now my oh shit, fuck me moment was we got there, finally went to bed at like, I think 2 a.m. So then we wake up at 4:30. It's the first time I've ever been forcibly waking up like this.
Right. With the lights on and everything.
Lights on. We're outside. We're in PTs. And it's just complete darkness outside. Utter darkness. The only thing I see are fucking spotlights, drill sergeants, and other people in PTs. And I'm just having that oh, fuck. What?
I'm getting institutionalized right now.
This is happening. It wasn't real for me until that very moment.
Yeah. I think it got real for me. So about halfway through, so we had to do this thing every night, and you had to scuzz the deck. So everything in Marine Corps boot camp is based around a boat, a ship, because we are a Department of the Navy.
Yeah, you're the
and so
proudest members of the Navy.
Right. That we're the men's department, and they want to basically get you oriented with the boat. So when you get into your squad bay, because we do, I don't know if you guys do squad bays or do you have barracks rooms?
We have platoon bays, so it's a whole platoon.
Right. So 90 to 100 people inside one area with racks. Okay, that's the same thing we had. So we had to scuzz the deck. So you have a scuzz brush, which is just like a big floor brush, basically, like a broom brush, but it's for your hands. And so every night before you go to bed, you have to scuzz the deck. And basically, you start at the wall, you crouch down because Marines aren't allowed to kneel. You crouch down, and you got to push the dust bunnies to the center. And then when you get them to the center, they tell you to go back and do it all over again. And it's annoying because you can't stand up. So to walk, you have to stay crouched, like the duck walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I broke at that moment when I was scuzzing the floor, and he just kept yelling, "Bang him out!" So you had to hit him on the floor, and he was right next to my ear, and it was just such a droning noise that I was like, you know what, I fucked up. I shouldn't be here anymore. And that's all. I just was like, here goes my personality. Even though I had made it, I think it was like 3 weeks in. That's when I realized I was like, you fucked up. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's when I broke. So yeah.
Yeah. So back to this article.
Yeah. Sorry, we keep going on tangents.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's going to be a regular thing on this podcast. So
an all-day thing.
Commonly referred to as the shark attack, this non-documented period of instruction was developed during our draft Army years. Command Sergeant Major Robert Fortenberry, the CSM of the infantry school. What the fuck ever. Drill sergeants were charged with these evaluating trainees' ability to handle stress, singling out perceived undesirables by enveloping them in a manner that emulated a shark attack. This activity, however, does not instill the spirit of the infantry. It betrays the innate trust between teammates, and worse, betrays the crucial bond of trust with our leaders. Now, here's the thing. If I want to know the guy that's standing to my left or right is a fucking shitbag, or a fucking mouth breather, window licker, doesn't know that, hey, you load the ammo in this way, not that way.
Yeah.
You know, I want to find out day one.
Yeah.
If he can't handle stress, that first day of basic training, having a couple of NCOs screaming at him, how the fuck is he going to handle shit when we're downrange in the shit, we're getting shot at, and I look over to him, and he's fucking hiding underneath the fucking LMTV.
And he's using you as cover.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I don't think so. I understand the world's changing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The climate is no longer what it used to be when inside the military, and I know the Army's under heavy fire with the missing soldiers in Texas, right? Fort Hood or Fort.
Yeah, Fort Hood.
Fort Hood. And I get that. Through generations, obviously the military has been hard on people, but it's made that way for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And not to sound like a fucking hard ass, but when it came to getting bullied and picked on and made into a better person, it really, that's all it was them breaking you like a horse and being like, now you're going to do exactly what I say, because one day you're going to see somebody get shot and you can't break, basically. Mm-hmm. You have to keep a military bearing. And if they can't do that at the beginning, they can't teach it later. After you pick up the bad habits of the fleet, you basically stop learning. Mm-hmm. It's how it goes. It's how I saw it go when I got to the fleet is you see these guys who had been in for 6 to 8 years, and they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, how is this man gonna help fight if he doesn't care? He was probably a stanchion recruit that just didn't care, and he got pushed through because he could run. He could run a PT, and that's it.
Yeah, and I have my opinions on fucking PT. But
Well, yeah.
So Fortenberry described how Benning's 22 weeks now. Benning's 22-week of infantry one-station unit training has replaced the shark attack with the first 100 yards, a new introductory training event being instituted at basic combat training across sites in the Army. The new training exercise is designed to put new trainees through a series of physically and mentally challenging events that will build an initial foundation of belief in oneself, belief in your teammates, and a belief in the leaders with whom they serve. Sorry, sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
The Army began creating this new approach at the beginning of basic combat training during the spring, when it had implemented new safety procedures to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Okay, that's just something he said. Recruits during the pandemic were already facing a highly stressful environment, so leaders at all basic training bases agreed that the shark attack ritual should go. Now, to pause right here, I'm 100% in agreement with, hey, there's this virus out. It spreads through close proximity, contact, exchanging of fluids in some cases. Yeah. I'm cool with dialing back the shark attack in response to that. But to fully get rid of it, it just feels like another way for higher up officers and NCOs that didn't like these things happening to them, feeling like they were getting hazed, to just step on drill sergeants' dicks.
Yeah. I get that COVID is a very serious thing. COVID is a very serious thing, and we had to deal with it the way it needed to be dealt with, especially because we're still pushing recruits through. Mm-hmm. But you can't take something that's been around since the Army. Like, I'm assuming when the Army was first started in 1775? 4?
5 or 4.
Yeah. Wait. Are you? Yeah. You guys are older than us, right? Yeah. They probably had something along the base of a shark attack where people were just getting roughed up, because that's how you get rid of the people that are only in it for the money or the benefits, or the guys who are just like, oh, well, this is going to be easy. And when they find out it's no longer easy, they're not going to stick around. We started with, I think, 105 guys in my platoon, and before we even got to week 2, we dropped down to 90.
1964 is when drill sergeants, the whole drill sergeant corps was formed.
Right. But before that, when people were enlisting, they were enlisting because that's what they wanted to do. There's probably no benefits that we're getting now. So,
dude, back in those days, it was pretty much you serve your country. At the beginning, like during the Revolutionary War, it was probably got, depending on certain situations, it probably got land.
Yeah. I know they got land.
Like that.
Yeah, they gave out land in New York for soldiers who served during the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. The Union gave land to them, and that was just to say thank you. It wasn't like they got $100 like a year to fight. And if you live, they're like, all right, well, here's some shitty land we can't grow on. So
yeah,
get out there. Thanks for taking that cannonball to the kneecap. Have a good life. Don't get dysentery. And that was it.
Yeah.
But now we have people that are just joining for the money.
Free college.
The college, all that good stuff.
I was what did my drill sergeant call it? He called it a patriot enlistment.
Yeah.
I enlisted with no sign-on bonus
I
at
didn't
all.
get a sign on either.
Yeah. He's like, because I hear all these people talking, because I think we're at the grenade range when I found out. I was like, the fuck, you guys got enlistment bonuses? They're like, yeah, dude, I wasn't going to sign that shit without an enlistment bonus. I was like, the fuck? Drill Sergeant Schmidt comes up behind me and just like, sounds like you got the green dick.
It reminds me of that movie where he's like, you only paid me $50K, and he's like, you're getting 50, I'm getting 20, and the one kid's like, you guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Marine Corps didn't do signing bonuses unless you had a big MOS, unless it was like such a rare MOS that they're like, we need bodies and we need bodies now, so give them like $5,000.
Yeah.
And then if you re-enlisted, I know you got a bonus.
Oh yeah.
But,
the re-enlistment bonuses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
and they were always big. Like you could get like $10,000, which $10,000 is a lot of money, but it's still like, it's not like when I went to the to re-enlist, guy was like, you can get a $5,000 re-enlistment bonus and we'll let you pick your next duty station. And I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, look at me. Like, look me in my eyes and look how depressed I am. Do you think I want to stay?
Right.
And of course, the guy was just like, you do it for country. I'm like, I'm going to fucking not do that. I already did it once. I'm done here.
Right.
Like, I was in a sling. And he's like, it's fine. You'll be okay. I'm like, no, bitch.
No, I don't want to be here.
You see what already happened? My bone's sticking out of my skin. You think I'm going to stay? No.
Cough enhancer. Thank you. All right. So okay, here's what they're doing. On day 1 of basic training, trainees are organized into platoons, given a resupply mission, requiring each platoon to work as a team to complete an essential operation. Set in a video which shows footage of trainees running with boxes of meals ready to eat, so MREs. Yep. Platoons then conduct events of the new Army Combat Physical Fitness Test, which is scheduled to replace that. Yeah, that's our new PT test, which I like, except for the fact that there's still a 2 fucking mile run.
What, you don't think you should do 2 miles?
I hate running. That's why I don't like it. They do.
I think.
Yeah.
My brother and I talked about this last night on Twitch. We talked about his PT score. So, my brother, he looks just like me, except for no beard, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And we got 2 completely different traits when it came to running. He hates running so much, and he's slow. He's not a long distance guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he can do pull-ups and sit-ups forever. And I was the opposite. I would do the 20 pull-ups, and I would be done. And he's the type of guy that would do like 20, and he'd just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do the obviously recommended sit-ups, and then I would just sprint the 3 miles because I'm like, I fucking love running. I'm good at running, but I hate running, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can go forever before I ever get tired. And then when I get tired, I'd rather just pass out than stop running. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about our PT scores. They rate you from a scale of 0 to 300. 300 being perfect.
Yep.
And I think 150 is like you fail completely. Like you did 1 pull-up, you did 1 sit-up, and you ran in a 30-minute 3 mile.
Yeah.
And him and I had the same exact scores, only I picked up most of my score from running, and he picks his score up from doing pull-ups and sit-ups. And I think everybody should have to run the same distance. If we're going to keep the military as a military, why should one branch not have to run as far as the
I think
other?
the Navy, I think they do 1.5 miles.
Yeah, they do 1.5 miles.
I think the Air Force does that too.
Yeah.
But so the new what is it called? The APAT? No, I can't remember. But they do the leg tuck, which is the pull-up bar, and you pull up and you scrunch up and touch your knees to your knees to your elbows.
I was gonna say shoulders. Holy fuck!
Right.
How flexible are you?
So they do the leg tuck, hand release push-ups, standing power throws where you're just throwing a fucking medicine ball.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not listing everything because there's a few more. There's a deadlift now. And then
These don't sound like, I don't know. Like what? When would you ever? I guess if you had to lift somebody, it'd be deadlift. But
yeah,
do you guys do a combat fitness test?
this is essentially the combat fitness test. So
you do a combat fitness test.
There's like a shuttle. Fitness. There's also a shuttle run thing that we have to do where I think the first there and back you're carrying ammo cans.
Yeah.
And then the next there and back you're dragging a sled. So that's supposed to simulate dragging,
right.
a litter. And then after that, it's a full-on sprint there and back. If anybody is, because I can't see who's watching, but if anybody's in and watching, let me know if that's true or not. I'm not 100% sure. Because I got out fucking 2 years ago now, so.
Our combat fitness test was you had to run an 880. So that's it's called the movement to contact. So you run an 880. And you have to do it in, I think the lowest you do is 18 seconds. Hold on. Not 18 seconds. A minute and 18.
Yeah, the original PT test was just push-ups, sit-ups, and then 2-mile run. And then the only way you hit the 300 score is if you hit 100 in each category. In order to hit the extended scales on any of the other categories, you have to hit 300 and then it starts going up.
Okay, so you have the movement to contact, which you have to, so from 17 to 20 for a male, the max is 2 minutes and 40 seconds and the minimum you can get is 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So you run, I think it's a half a mile, something, no, 880, whatever 880 is. That's like what, 6 laps around the track?
Something like
laps. And then you have to do the ammo can lift. You have to do 100 of those. You can only do, and to pass, you have to do 62. Then you have to do the maneuver under fire, which is like what you guys do. So you sprint. No, you.
The 3 to 5 second rushes. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down.
Like that, yeah. You have to do a high crawl, a low crawl. Then you zigzag in and out of cones. Run down. You throw a fake grenade. And it has to get within inside of a certain distance. And then you grab a buddy. You drag him back to a set of cones. And then you drag him through the same zigzag. You pick him back up. You buddy carry him. Run him to the end. Grab ammo cans. Run back down. Do 5 push-ups. Pick him back up and run back to the end.
Okay.
And then you have to do that in then 2:07. 2 minutes 7 seconds. That was more. I feel like that was more focused around actual combat scenario than what most people do, from what I understand.
Right.
Because like, I mean, yeah, anybody can deadlift and shit, but like to sprint back and forth while carrying a body was like, oh shit, I'm gonna actually have to do this one day.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, the platoons that fail to obtain the highest score will be given appropriate corrective training exercise, so they get smoked. The drill sergeants will also quiz trainees about information that they learned at the reception station and dole out corrective training for incorrect answers, so they get smoked. The trainees are then instructed to retrieve their baggage, which is staged in a specific location, and to move it quickly to the accompanying training area. CTA, that's what it is. That was the phrase I was trying to remember. This is not designated to be a hazing event, but to promote attention to detail and urgency to execute a task in a timely manner. See, this shit to me, it sounds like a response to... Did you see that video of that private in the holdover company that called his drill sergeant a hoe? And then the drill sergeant just fucking smacked him one good time, then threw him up against the locker.
He had that shit coming.
Right. Now you see it, and like people were talking shit and we were like, oh, I was an NCO for fucking 12 years and I never laid hands on any of my junior enlisted. And I don't promote beating your privates, pun intended. But at the same time, this is.
God damn it, okay, all right.
But when it comes to combat arms like infantry, corrective action needs to be fucking like that.
Swift and precise.
Swift and precise. And if I was a team leader, and if my guys weren't fucking doing what I fucking told them to do, it was a quick fucking, hey, backside of the helmet, fucking look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this feels like, this whole event feels like in response to that, but at the same time being cloak and dagger with COVID.
Well, it brought attention to it. So any type of media attention is bad attention when it comes to the military, which I'm not saying that some things don't need to be brought to light, with obviously the sexual assault claims and the rampant shit going on within the military needs addressed. But if you are in a position of power and you have a guy who doesn't respect you, if I take you to the wood line and I beat the shit out of you in a fair fight, then guess what? You're probably not going to pull some fucking foo-foo petty shit after I just beat you.
Right. That's what my squad leader was telling me. He's like, bro, if I fucking had wall-to-wall counseling, the way we handled shit was we go into a Connex, drop our tops, sort the shit out, and agreed that it ended in there.
Once the doors reopened inside the container, it was over.
But no, it was
over for good.
Fucking higher ups want to hand out fucking field grade Article 15s and
6105s. You know how many of those I fucking got? I probably have a stack somewhere.
Yeah,
of just of some NCO that didn't have the balls to tell me to get fucked or fight him. And so he handed me a 6105. I signed that shit, and then it got tossed somewhere. And I was like, I don't give a fuck still. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
And that was my policy when I was a team leader. If I had a guy that was fucking up, and if I was able to keep it down at my level or at least the squad level, I didn't fucking push some fucking paperwork that was gonna follow him for the rest of his fucking career. I went to my squad leader. I was like, hey, Sergeant, I'm gonna take him over here, and I'm gonna bring him to the wood line, make him fucking sweat, and remind him
there's an order to
fucked
shit.
Up. And then bring him back, and then we end it. It was squashed. That was it.
Yeah, no, that's just how it
now
works.
We have shit like this, because when you have idiots like this that will go through this, not get weeded out, make it to their company, eventually make it to maybe a junior NCO slot.
Yeah.
As long as he has good PT. And then you're going to have soldiers that are going to be put underneath him, see that he's a shitbag, and completely lose their fucking drive, which is what happened with me. That's why I didn't want to re-enlist. I saw how toxic leadership was getting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. I think that when it comes... So my leadership skills that I learned while in the Marine Corps, once I started getting guys under me who looked up to me, I had to straighten my shit out. Because I was a really bad PFC and Lance Corporal. I didn't care. I bloused my boots all the way to the bottom. I had wizard sleeves. If I rolled my sleeves, I just didn't do them right. I didn't care. And then when I picked up NCO and when I went overseas, it all had to change. When I went overseas the first time, they're like I remember going over there, and they basically, I had a sergeant who pulled me to the side, and he's like, there are guys younger than you who see how you're acting and see what you're doing on post, and you're going to get somebody killed. And if you don't think so, then just wait. Keep your shit up and watch someone die, and I guarantee you it's going to change your life. And I was like, okay, so what do I do? And luckily I had a good sergeant who literally pulled me to the side, and he was like, dude, this is what I need. If you do it, then everyone's going to go home. If you don't, then you're going to lose people. And even people that I lost that were under me still hurt to the point where it was... I'll even know how to put this. it felt like I had failed, even though I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Because that other NCO or that even other sergeants that weren't taking it seriously until something happened could have made it better by not being lazy and just slapping somebody or taking them and just grabbing by the shirt collar and being like, you need to fucking get your shit straight or something bad will happen. And I hate that everybody's like, oh yeah, like Marines will die if you're late to formation. That's not true, but it's holding accountability for yourself. So that way I don't have to have somebody over my shoulder 24/7 being like, okay, cough's good. And then he doesn't give the attention to somebody that actually needs it. The 6105s and the Article 15s don't do shit. It makes you look like a bitch.
Right.
And I'll stand by that forever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I would always rather do personal corrective action than fucking paperwork.
You don't have to be mean or hurt somebody. If you just grip somebody up by the back of the neck and you're like, listen, straighten up, they're probably going to listen because you're being abrasive but yet gentle at the same time. You're like, listen, this could go one of two ways.
Firm,
and right now I'm being a man talking to you as a man, or if you keep fucking up, I'm going to have to do something that neither of us are going to like. And then we can fix the problem.
That was my first team leader, Sergeant Petrie.
Yeah. And it works. I have pain retains. And if you talk to somebody like a man, they're gonna respect you for being a man about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand by that today. My brother and I talk about pain retaining every day, because if you do something that sucks and it's the effect of your cause, then you're not going to do the cause again. Yeah. Unless you're just a masochist who's just like, hey, I fucking like getting punched in the face. So let's keep that shit hot. Let's keep that going. And no one's like that. I haven't met anybody that's like that, but
right. All right, we got about half hour left, so let's try and plow through this.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Next comes a demonstration by a squad of infantry in full battle rattle, moving with M4 carbines and other weapons through smoke and pyrotechnics. Ooh, yes.
Ooh, fireworks.
The infantry demonstration squad inspires the trainees to stay the course and complete the last 100 yards of training. The first 100 yards concludes with the drill sergeants marching trainees to their platoon bays and begin what will be the first 2 weeks of isolated training, known as controlled monitoring. No, it's called fucking hell phase. As part of COVID-19 safety protocols, the Army began in the spring. Dude, I remember the first day in the bay, find my rack, find my locker, drop our shit. We filled out some paperwork, the hey, if I die, inform this person. I want my life insurance policy to go to this person, blah, 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 blah. Then, fill out something that gets sent to your local newspaper. Be like, hey, fucking Private Hansen has graduated basic training.
Oh, we didn't even get that. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. I filled that out and I checked my paper at home. It wasn't fucking in there.
I didn't even get that option.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody even knew I graduated until I showed up back at my high school.
Right. Essentially, this
dress blues.
Okay. While it's too early to have significant data on the program, McNorton said the Army plans to evaluate the effort and see whether it reduces attrition in basic training and advanced individual training. I guess like the number of dropouts. Well, if you're making it easier and softer, fucking course.
Yeah. You're not going to have an attrition rate go up if it's easier.
This is an all-volunteer Army, and we need to focus on building trust, teaching values, and connecting to them.
Yeah, it's the largest volunteer military we've had in years, but what's going to happen when another war breaks out? We're still fighting overseas, which people refuse to notice.
My guys are in Africa right now.
Yeah, we're still doing stuff. We're still over there doing something.
Yeah.
And if you have these guys who aren't in it for the right reasons and they go somewhere, it's like throwing civilians at it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they got the uniform and yeah, they might look good in it and they know how to shoot a gun, but they're not going to
And
make an ultimate sacrifice.
that rockin' PT score, because that's what makes
Yeah.
the soldier. It's that PT score.
Yeah, it's just
All right, last paragraph. It is critical that our newest generation of soldiers have the experience at the beginning of their journey to become an infantry soldier. This lays the foundation for the next 22 weeks of infantry training. Wow.
I don't know. I see where the military's going. It reminds me of after World War II, people stopped enlisting, and people were getting out because the war was over, and then Korea happened, and they were sending. So I don't know about the Army, but they were sending Marines through boot camp as fast as they could, and they were they got done at Parris Island, and they were shipped to Korea. They got their 7 days of boot leave, and they're like, all right, go fight. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're heading. That's where we're going.
Yeah. I can't remember with what all happened with the Army during Korea. But
you guys were there. I think you were in the northern section.
Sounds about right. I don't know. To me, this sounds like a whole lot of damage control.
It is, and that's what the higher ups think it needs. And it's just, I don't know. It's going in a direction that I don't think it should be going.
Yeah,
I guess. And I know with the Marine Corps, we got in trouble for that recruit being thrown in a dryer. And it's not good. We get it. And then the recruit throwing himself off of the third story. But I think it happens with every phase. There's always a recruit that tries to commit or does commit suicide.
Yeah.
And
we had that talk.
Sucks, but
we had that talk so many times where the drill sergeant, another guy would be put on fucking suicide watch, which were basically 550 corded to him.
Yeah.
But the speech was basically, guys, this isn't the real Army. Like, this is basic training.
Yeah, it gets better. Well,
or worse, depending on what duty station you go to.
It gets fucking worse if you go to 29 Palms.
But it's like, I don't understand. Like, obviously you chose to be here. It's just something I could never wrap my head around, was these guys that were purposely snapping their ankles, biting, like putting rocks in their fucking food so they would break a tooth and have to go to dental.
Yeah.
Like, I just never understood that. Like, a week before we got there was a guy that was out on the range that actually blew his fucking head off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I understand. I understand.
I get
it's a response to it, but fucking.
I get that every individual is different. He might have already had mental health issues going into it. But MEPS should have screened that, which MEPS is a giant joke anyway. Because I'm out now, so I can say this. I have flat feet. And I'm not allowed to enlist at all with flat feet.
I'm red green colorblind.
Yeah. See, that's a waiver, though. For flat feet, you can't get a waiver. Because it can lead to lower back problems after rucking. And the guy, my doctor, whoever checked out my feet, he said, "Hey, your feet are flat." And I was like, "Yes, I know. I know they're flat." And he's like, "Okay, well, I should fail you." And I was like, "Well, don't." And he said, "Okay." And then signed the paperwork. I didn't bribe him. I just like, "Please don't. Like, I want to be here."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Good enough for me. You play sports, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I play football and baseball." He's like, "Then your back doesn't hurt." And I was like, "No, I'm 19. Why would my back hurt?"
Well, that was my thing too. Is I have flat feet too, but they didn't say anything to me about it though.
Did they? So he checked my feet out for a long time because I had uh, my tennis shoes on and I had the little arches, the little arch things in them to add
Mm-hmm.
support. And so he saw those when he went to check my feet. And he's like, "You have flat feet. Like, you know this." I'm like, "Yes, I do know this." And that's a failing thing. And he's just like, "Go, get out of here." It was the same guy that checked my butthole. So
That fucking guy.
I want to know how many buttholes he's seen in his life.
You couldn't fathom the amount of buttholes that man has seen.
He was an old man.
That man has
And
seen more buttholes than the Brazzers fucking videographers.
the cameraman that just watch nothing but anal all day. Like, oh my god! And I don't think they rotate. I don't think they change doctors.
Oh, so when I got back to my unit, I talked to the guys there. I was like, hey, so, because we somehow got on the conversation of MEPS. I was like, hey, so what guy checked you? And they all everyone described the same fucking guy. Like, old guy, short, his nose looked like it was made out of a pickle and ground beef.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy fuck.
And it was just weird because I don't know what were they checking for?
Right.
Like, what would be on my butthole that would stop me?
Herpes, maybe?
It doesn't make any sense. What?
Well, herpes is super contagious.
Yeah,
especially in like the close quarters that we were in.
but herpes only presents itself when you have a flare up. So even if like that moment you could not be flaring up, and then
True.
you could spread it.
Imagine that conversation with the recruiter. Hey, so what all is in this medical screening? Like, oh well, you do this, you underwear Olympics, then guy checks your butthole. It's like, oh, can we wait like a week? Because I'm having a flare up.
He's like, yo, what? I got butthole herpes, not on the front. It's nowhere near anything else. Just the butthole.
Just the butthole.
And I don't in the underwear Olympics. I did that, and I was standing in the corner, and a doctor called me George St. Pierre, like to my face. He's like, "This George St. Pierre looking motherfucker." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And he's like, "You're the only one fit here." I'm like, "You're fucking right. I'm the only one that has abs here. What am I doing?" Because I was like, I thought going into MEPS, I was like, I'm gonna see all these, like, everybody's gonna be fit, everybody's gonna be in shape. I don't know. I didn't see one other fit person there with me.
Yeah, when I went,
and then the duck walk, I was like, I could do this all day. What do you want from me? I think it's hip flexors, right? That's what they're checking.
I think so. Yeah.
Weird question.
Answer.
During boot camp, did you have to always sit in the crisscross position, the Indian style?
It was never required. Everyone just did it.
We had to. Like, it was an everyday thing, which later it came into effect when you're on the range, so that way you could sit right and do the sitting position correctly.
Oh, that's right. You guys shoot crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, or you can do the one leg up, one leg down, elbow on the knee. But like the whole time, even now, like if I'm gonna sit down on the ground, immediate, like I can literally just sit down from standing to crisscross.
Yeah,
Like, I'll just be up and I'll just drop down.
They never required that because our shooting positions when we do rifle qual is prone, prone supported. So you have the sandbag. Prone unsupported. That's just with your arms resting on your elbow. And then the kneeling. And the kneeling was the most wishy-washy fucking stance because they didn't care how you did it as long as like we had a guy that was practically sitting on his butt.
Yeah.
With his leg crossed underneath him, his one knee up, and then resting on it.
What do you do the kneeling at? What yardage?
I think when kneeling, you don't shoot past. I think it's either the 200 or the 150. I can't remember.
Okay.
They didn't
because we do.
I think they wouldn't have us shoot 300s on the kneeling.
So I think at 100. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up
Fucking
because we
fast
shoot
Freddy.
further than you. I think.
Furthest target for us is 300.
Yeah, our
With the
furthest is
M4.
5. Yeah, our furthest is 5, with whatever rifle you're given.
Yeah. Well, with the M4 though, the you guys are basically shooting max
Effective
area
range.
target.
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
shooting max point target.
yeah. We're doing area, and you're supposed to be you have to be accurate everywhere up to the. Once you get to 500, you can drop maybe 3 rounds and still qual. So if you hit perfect on everything and you get to 500 and you drop more than 3, you're not going to pass range.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go back the next week.
Yeah. Yeah, because max effective point is 300 meters with an M4 carbine, and then area was 500.
Yeah.
And then then it's max range was like what, 800? That's just the round getting there.
Yeah, because I remember doing 500, and so you do 500 in prone, which is the easiest way to shoot an M4 or M16 is prone. And I remember I didn't get glasses until I got out of the Marine Corps. I remember looking down the RCO, and I'm like, I can't even fucking see this shit. And I was like, how am I gonna? So I just I was like, I'm gonna put a dot on it, and I'm gonna see. And so I shot, and then it's like, you hit the berm. I'm like, fuck. All right, maybe a little bit higher this time. Because you do grass week, but grass week's basically you just staring at a barrel and figuring out what the best position is for you to be in.
Right. For me, shooting the 300, it really depended on the range that I was at. Because, like I said, I'm red-green colorblind, so, and our fucking body targets are green. If I'm at a range where there's a bunch of fucking green trees behind it, there's been times where I've been sitting there waiting for it.
Yeah, and it's already up.
And then I hear the fucking dude behind me like, dude, the 300's up. And I'll go, oh, and I'll just shoot.
Yeah.
And you'd be like,
I hope I hit it.
I think you hit it. Can you not see it?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck no.
So our BMOD targets are black and white. So you get a black silhouette with a white background. Then our dog targets are the same, black and white. Black being the target, white being the background. So it's easy if somebody was colorblind shooting, because it's right there. It's just a silhouette.
Yeah.
We had to do standing at one point. I love doing the standing because they do this. They do this thing called bitch hipping, and it basically you stand up and you poke your butt out, and you rest your elbow on it to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always funny watching these like staff sergeants and officers do the bitch hip. And you're like, look at this fucking loser. And I just pull my gun up and let it fall, then shoot. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit back down now. I hit it. I know I did, for sure. Because they bitch hip and they try and get the gun as level as they could at the very beginning. And so what I would do is I point it up a ways and then let it fall. Then once it got to where I wanted it, I just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because the bullet's going to be out of the barrel by the time it even drops a half an inch. I just love watching people bitch it. It's just hilarious. And people will put magazines in their pants as an extra resting place, and they put their elbow on the magazine. I'm like, what? Just shoot it. Like, I get that you sit behind a keyboard, but just shoot the gun. Just do it.
Yeah.
Put a round down range. See what happens. Don't rest on anything.
Oh, when my platoon would be the one running the range, you would always tell when the pogues would show up.
Yeah.
You guys obviously know what pogues are.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Were you talking to me or talking to chat? Because I definitely know what a pogue is.
Okay. So pogue for chat, those who are watching, it's person other than grunt. Just anybody that's not in a combat arms MOS. So when we would run the range, I could always tell who was in a combat MOS and who was not, just by the way that their stances when they shoot. And it would just be like, when the infantry guys go through, we would average people getting 27 out of 30, and 30 out of 30. Just all across the board.
Yeah.
And then the pogues would show up, and you would know when they started showing up because you would start seeing fucking, I think, minimum. Hang on, I gotta double check.
You're missed targets. You're getting the. So how do you guys do it? You guys have people in the pits, right? That tell you if somebody hit or not.
No, you don't find out. Yeah, it's all electronic. You don't find out until you get back.
Okay, so for the Marine Corps, it's fucking old. So you have 100 people on the range. If there's 50 targets, you have 100 people or more, depending. So we're gonna do 100. There's 50 targets. Half of the range goes behind where the targets are. There's a big berm, and there's concrete back there, and it's a pit. And so if you shoot, a guy pulls the target down, puts a pin or a marker where you shot at, and then puts it back up so you know where you're hitting. And so we have these things called lollipops, which is a big red sign, and if they miss, you just wave it back and forth.
I remember hearing about that.
And then then they would the guy would come over and ask you where they missed. He'd be like, I think they missed left. And then they get on an intercom speaker and they'd be like, target 25, you missed left. And then everybody can just hear you being bad at shooting a gun. And you're like, how the fuck did you make it here? Shooting way left. Or they'd be like, you shot on the wrong target. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
This is not right.
I just always thought it was funny because I know you guys are mostly electronical and I know the Air Force is full electric.
Yeah, I don't even think they actually go to. I think they go to what is it, EST?
Yeah, with the computer and the air compressed. Yeah.
So
it's weird to me because you got to get used to it.
So they just apparently they just changed the standard.
Yeah.
For rifle qual in the Army, which it actually went up, so that's good. I remember it being, I think the minimum was 17 out of 30 was pass.
Yeah.
But now it's minimum is 22.
Thanks, Cryptic. He said, congrats.
Hey, thank you so much, Cryptic. I appreciate it. The so like you would see guys coming through, and you know there were pogues because they would be shooting anywhere between 17 and fucking 25. And then we'd ask them and be like, hey, do you guys want to run it again? That's a pretty fucked up score. And they're just like, no, it's passed. We're good. Like, you're a cook, aren't you? How could you tell?
So the Marine Corps has a standing tradition that when you go to the range, you don't wear rank. So no one wears rank, so that way there's no officers and staff can't push in front of you to get the better target, so you don't wear rank. And I got NJP'd early in my career, so I was in for 2 years, and I was a PFC, so I was an E2. And I'm laying down, and I have this corporal come up on me, and I have a fucking beautiful out of regs mustache. It's amazing. And he lays down next to me. Well, he lays down on top of me because that's how you're supposed to do it while on the range. And he's like, hey, corporal, you're done. Like, come on, get off the line. I was like, actually, it's PFC, but thanks, man. And I stand up. And he looks me up and down. He's like, PFC? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, what's up? And he's higher rank, so I'm supposed to give him respect. And he's like, you're not gonna address me by my rank? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why would I give a shit? Right. He's like, I like you, kid. I'm like, thanks, man, but I don't give a fuck about you anyway.
The way we ran our ranges, so you couldn't have PFCs being range safeties.
Yeah.
It was E4 and up.
Yeah.
So, and then it's known, it doesn't matter if it's an E4 calling you out or fucking E7. If you're doing something unsafe, that E4, if you're an E9, will still put his fucking hands on you.
Oh, yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
You have live fire weapons. You have to have that. Yeah.
The first time I ever had to exercise that was on the SOT range.
Oh, God.
Dude, it had to be his first time shooting it.
Yeah.
But in his defense, it was a runaway.
Oh, he didn't break the belt?
Yeah. So
did he ride the lightning the entire time?
So we were we're doing this reflective firing. So we walk about 5 paces, turn, shoot, then bring it back down. Well, so he goes, turns, he lets it rip, and then brings it down, and it's still going.
Yeah.
It's just
down towards his feet.
Down towards his feet, and then when he realized it, he kind of jumped. So the rifle was coming up, and there's fucking people in front of him. So that's when I grabbed the top of the rifle, shoved it into the fucking dirt, and I ripped him away from it, and I broke the belt.
God, I don't understand how there are people that have gone through and they don't know to just... it's so easy to jam a 249.
Yeah.
If you give that belt a tug and it stops the whole recyclation of the rifle, it's not going to try and fire again because it is so mechanical that's just going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's
no
longer
where it
getting
just won't fucking fire.
Yeah. And like I always felt like it was common sense to be like, it's still shooting. Maybe I should get rid of the things that go bang.
Yeah.
Like I should get rid of those.
No, apparently SOP is to jump and bring it up and fucking mow down the whole firing line.
I get getting scared because it is a scary thing when you let go of the trigger and you're still going.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't know. I just always felt like we've had guys get hot brass before and they point their rifle at somebody on accident, but you're literally getting burned. So I get that. But like, I don't know. It's weird to me that there are people in the military that don't know how to work around weapons.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever put my hands on somebody without even giving a fuck what their rank was, because I knew. I could just tell.
Oh, he's gonna get somebody killed.
Yeah.
You want to hear another funny range story?
Yeah.
So this is, I think, is my last time going to the range, because I was getting out. I knew I was leaving, so I went to the range, and so either you bring lunch or they give you a box lunch, which is always shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna fucking pack lunch. Well, I didn't have any like plastic containers. I just had plastic baggies. So the night before, I made a fucking shit ton of spaghetti, and I put them in the sandwich baggies. And sitting down at the bench, because you don't get a lunch break. You just have to eat whenever you have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting down next to it's a sergeant to my left, and like a lieutenant and a major to my right. And I sit down and I open my fucking day bag up, reach my hand in there, pull out a bag of spaghetti, a plastic see-through bag of spaghetti. I open that bitch up and I'm eating it. And the major looks at me, and I'm stuffing my face. I have a shit ton of spaghetti in my mouth. And I look at him. I'm like looking at him. He goes, "That's the smartest shit I ever seen." I'm like, goddamn right. I just went back to eating my fucking spaghetti. And everyone's like, "I never thought of that." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? Never thought about putting spaghetti in a bag?" He's a bag. I had some spaghetti.
I did something similar to that.
Yeah.
I used the fucking the Chef Boyardee fucking spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, in a bag.
In the fucking soup cans.
Yeah.
I put fucking 3 of them in my assault pack. Went to the range, and then I can't remember what it was, because I kept them in there just for emergencies if I ever never had a chance to eat. And then I get back and I had to run someone to the hospital down to the fucking troop medical center. So I get back and there's no chow left.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh fuck, Hanson, I'm sorry. We thought you were gonna eat out there." It's like, "No, the fuck,
no, bitch.
Whatever.
This is what we're eating."
They're like, "Well, I'm sorry." I'm like, "It's okay." And I open up my salt pack and I just and go, "Anybody got a spoon?" Yeah, that'll work. And then everyone's just looking at me like,
"You had ravioli?
Yeah.
Just ready to go?"
Like, I'm gonna fucking start doing that.
So overseas, it was so hot that we would get soup cans or like Chef Boyardee or whatever, ravioli and shit, and you put it on top of a truck in the middle of the day, and you let it sit there for like 20 minutes, and it'd be hot as fuck. So you grab it, and you fucking pry that bitch open, and fucking hot chef warrior deep, bitch. And you fucking eat that shit in the truck. Or what I do, so if I was road grading or if I was IED finding, I would take my MRE that was given to me at the beginning of the day, and I'd put it in the engine bay.
Hey, back kitty. No.
Bad kitty.
Have a scratching post, you little shit.
I would put the MRE, the main course, I would tape it to the inside next to the engine bay, and I would drive for like most of the day, and then I'd get out, grab the fucking MRE packet, hot as fuck, and open it. And people just would look at me like, why the fuck haven't I been doing this? Like, who is this E4 that knows more than me? I'm like, you guys are just fucking morons. Like I'd be shirtless in an up armored cab, and somebody would come by and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting a fucking tan." What do you mean? What I'm doing? He's like, "You're gonna get shot." I'm like, "Through 16 inches of fucking pure bulletproof glass? Show me that gun, please." Like, what if you get blown up? I'm like, then I don't need my torso anyway. What's that gonna do for me?
Having a fucking IOTV is not gonna change that.
Yeah, like if I had my full kit and caboodle on in 120-degree weather, and then a full uniform, flak Kevlar, I'm like, it's fucking dumb. And look at me, I look good. You're just mad because I'm dark brown and you pasty as shit. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
Pasty as shit and sunburnt.
Yeah, like
look like a fucking Pokeball.
Like you'd open my cab door and it smelled like that sun tanning oil. Like, what have you been doing in here? I'm like, fucking tanning. What do you mean?
I love it.
People were just amazed that like I've been here for 6 months and I don't have a tan. I'm like, because you're fucking dumb. Take your gloves off. Take everything off. The enemy's not gonna care if they blow you up and you're shirtless. What are they gonna do? Censor your nipples out? They don't give a shit. They're still gonna cut your head off and put it on CCTV. Like,
hey, Ahmed. Hold on. He's not wearing Kevlar.
No shirt. No shoot. He does not care here. He's tan like me. You get what I'm saying? Like, people are just dumb. Yeah, it's just the amount of times I blew people's minds by just doing simple stuff that made sense, but no one wanted to think about, was crazy.
Yeah. I remember we got this new guy in. I was notorious for fucking with new people.
Like you should be.
Because I just got bored. It actually became... It basically just said, okay, don't let Hanson get bored. If we're at the armory, keep him busy. And keep him the fuck away from the new guys. So, I got this new guy. He was put under me. And we had... what was it? It was a Humvee. We had a Humvee just sitting out there. And we geared up for going out to Ripley the next day. And I told him, I was like, hey, we're going out to Ripley. We're going to be doing a training exercise. I need you to take this hammer and go find weak points in the armor. Go find the soft spots. And I had him go out and do it when the first sergeant was right next to it, talking to all the platoon sergeants and the squad leaders.
Jesus Christ.
So, and I'm right next to them at the fucking picnic table smoking, just so I can watch.
Yeah.
And I can hear the whole conversation. First sergeant's just like, all right, so at 1700, second platoon, you guys are going to be clang. I'm just sitting there.
No.
And he doesn't see him because he's on the other side of the fucking Humvee.
Right. He just hears a metal bang.
Yeah. So he just, all right, goes back and goes, so yeah, second platoon, you guys are going to be doing, you're going to have a patrol base established here. I want you in between these two formations here at the draw. Clang. And I'm just shaking at the fucking table.
Someone's fucking with me.
It goes back. And then third platoon, clang. Okay, what the fuck? And then you see You see the private stick his head from around the Humvee with the fucking hammer. The first sergeant goes, "The fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I'm looking for soft spots in the armor, First Sergeant." Hanson! Looks back at the picnic table. I'm gone.
So when we got boot drops, I was always the designated go getter of boot drops, because I was always in my barracks room. I didn't do shit. I would never leave, and so they show up at like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., wherever the fuck they flew in from. So I get a phone call like, "Hey, like, you been drinking?" And I've fucking obviously been drinking, but I don't tell them that. I'm like, "No, I'm good. Why? What's up?" He's like, "Hey, we got a new guy. Make sure you're shaved. Get in uniform. Go pick him up." I was like, "All right." So I'd walk to the head shed and I'd go pick him up, and they'd be like, I'd sign him in or whatever. I'm like, "All right, he's mine. Like, I have him. Don't worry about it." We start walking back. I'm like, "Yeah, your barracks is on the left up there. Just start walking that way." And I'd go to his actual barracks and I'd wait for him. And then he'd be just lost in the parking lot. Like, where the fuck am I supposed to be? Like, he'd be knocking on random numbered doors. I'd be like, "Yeah, you're in room 120. Just go knock. Your roommate's in there waiting for you." And he'd knock at 1 to 2 a.m. on room 120. The guy would open it and be like, "What the fuck do you want?" He's like, "I'm your new roommate." He's like, "No, the fuck you're not. Get the fuck out of here." And then he'd come back and like, "Where'd you go, man?" He's like, "I went where you wanted me to go." I'm like, "No, I went this way. Follow me. I'm your NCO. What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "You said to go that way." I'm like, "Are you calling me a liar?" "Good. Stand by." And I'd go back to my room and I would just wait. I would just go sit up there, like, have another drink or something. And I would tell my roommate, I'm like, "Hey, I got a new guy down there. He thinks I'm coming back to fuck with him. So, I'm just going to hang out." He's like, "You're such a fucking dickhead." I'm like, "No, I'm not. This fucking dude ruined my day. Like, it's 2 a.m. I had shit to do. I was drinking, playing video games." And they would just stand there next to the duty desk. And the duty would be like, what are you doing? What are you waiting on?" He's like, my corporal said to stand by because he's going to fuck me up." He's like, "Carry on then." Continue the debauchery of what's happening. And then, like, I would get them settled in, and I'd be like, "All right, like, I'm Corporal Kaufman. It's like so nice to meet you. Like, if you need anything, I'm right above you, or I'm in this room," wherever the fuck they were at. And then they would never come back to me because they're like, "This guy's gonna fuck with me. This guy's gonna do whatever he can to fuck with me." And I'm like, "You're fucking right. You're goddamn right. I am."
All right. I got 2 stories.
Yeah. Wait, before you start, I have to take a piss.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys are all enjoying this as much as I am. I'm having a lot of fun. For future reference, this podcast isn't going to only be about military talk and stuff like that. It just happens to be this time because former infantry, and then he's former Marine. There's no such thing as a former Marine. But I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. Like I was just saying, I got 2 stories, and then we have to wrap it up because I have to go get my daughter. So now I'm just sitting here trying to fill in dead air while he... Suppose I can start telling you guys while I wait for him. So the other day, Kauffodile and I were talking on stream about me getting a 1971 GTO. My father-in-law's selling it. I really fucking wanted it. He's asking a ridiculously low price for it. And he's back. So we're going to stop right there. Hey.
I'm back.
So I got one more Army story and then the announcement after that.
The announcement?
Yes, the announcement. So I was fucking with this private. Now I was friends with our supply NCO.
Yeah.
And with us being friends, I love to waste his fucking time.
Yes.
Because I know being a supply NCO is you're busy.
Always.
So I got this new guy. He wasn't even mine. They just fucking stuck him with me until they found a home for him. So I told him we were gearing up to go out in the field, which we weren't.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, all right, so we're going to be heading out to the field. He's like, but they said that. Don't fucking worry about what they said. Roger, specialist. Don't fucking call me specialist. So, I need you to write down this list, and I need you to bring it to Sergeant Schwartz, not fucking Cross, not this dude or this dude, because they're gonna stop you and say, "Hey, just give it to me." You say, "No, you were instructed by your team leader. Don't say my fucking name. To only talk to Sergeant Schwartz." And he goes, "Okay." And so I rattle off what I want him to get. And I see him just fucking march.
Beeline it. I'm on a special mission.
And of course, I see Cross fucking look over, see him, and goes to intercept him. And I see him snap the parade rest. And then Cross is like, "The fuck, dude, I'm not an NCO." And goes, "Okay." And I can see like them talking and be like, "Look, man, you don't need to go to Sergeant Schwartz. You can just bring it to me, man. If it's needed, I can bring it up to him." And I can hear him go, "I was instructed by my team leader to only bring this to Sergeant Schwartz." "Who's your team leader?" "I can't say." He goes, "Oh, all right." And he goes past him. Another guy stops him. Same fucking thing.
Yeah.
One more guy stops him. Same fucking thing. Till finally, I see Sergeant Schwartz stick his fucking head out and go, "What?" Hands fucking. You can see the paper just vibrating in his fucking hand.
It's wiggling. He's so fucking nervous.
And he hands it to him. Sergeant Schwartz looks down and sees the list of crate of grid squares.
Oh, God.
Chemlight batteries. Exhaust samples from the Humvee last week.
Humvee pull start.
And it's just more made up shit that I could think of. And I see him look up, look over at me and go, "Fuck you, Hanson!" Slam his fucking door.
Right in the kid's face.
Right in the kid's face. The kid looks back over at me. I'm gone.
Did you ever play Private Pong?
Private Pong?
Yeah, so you bring the new PFC or private in, and you grab him and be like, "Hey, I need you to go to Corporal so-and-so and tell him I said ping." And he would go, and he'd find Corporal so-and-so, and he'd be like, "Corporal Kaufman says ping." And he's like, "Okay, go back to Corporal Kaufman and tell him I said pong." And he'd fucking scurry along, and he'd be like, "Corporal so-and-so told me to tell you pong." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Go back and tell him I said ping." We would do that for hours, and we do it so we would communicate obviously beforehand, or if you didn't get a chance to communicate, we would so as soon as you got the first ping, you knew it was time to go run and hide. And so I would get the first ping and I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah, we're playing pong, this is dope." So I go and play pong. I would go, so out where we were out near the ITX station, so we were all the way out in the desert. We were like 10 miles away from main base, and we had this dig pit that literally just led into the Mojave Desert. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as you step out past the fence, it was nothing but hills and sand. And so as soon as I got the first ping, I would sprint to the back gate, and I'd open the door because I had a key, and I'd fucking leave the gate, and I would just stand out. Like, I'd be on top of a hill, a sand hill with my arms crossed, just sitting here. And he'd be like, he comes sprinting, I see him moving, the fence fucking behind him. He'd get there, and he'd be like, "Corporal so-and-so said pong." I'm like, "Fucking shit. God damn it. Go back. Tell me I said ping." And as soon as he'd sprint, I go further in the desert. I'm like, "I'm out of here."
I wish I would have thought of some shit like that.
So fucking...
I would have privates stealing each other's fucking name tapes and bringing them to me, but I'll have them like pitted against each other without the other one knowing.
Right.
All right. All right. So the announcement.
Oh yeah. Seriously.
You ready for this?
I'm fucking.
You're gonna shit out of your dick.
I'm shaking with anticipation.
I'm getting the GTO.
Fuck yes.
Yes.
God damn it! Did you sell Haley into slavery?
So, all right. So here's how it went.
Yeah.
So we had the conversation last night.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're a fucking idiot. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. I'm like, it's only this much. And she's like, no. We got a dumbass Doberman that can't shit outside. You need to pay attention to him and take care of him so he will stop shitting inside. I'm like, I can handle that. She's like, no, you can't. Like, you can barely handle it now with a Twitch channel. And sometimes upload to YouTube. I'm like, look, I can get the loan. I can do this. I can do that. We can do a fucking series on it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Of me being a dumbass that knows nothing about cars other than replacing the windshields.
Yeah.
And like slowly but surely restoring this fucking thing.
Restore this motherfucker. Okay.
And she's like, no, end of story. And I was like, I really don't feel like this is a conversation.
Yeah, because it's your loan. You're not asking her to pay, right?
No.
I mean,
but
granted, I run everything through my wife too. If I want to buy something, I'd let her know. But if I'm paying for it, then she's just like, it's your money. Like you got a budget. It's your thing. So yeah. I get where you're coming from.
So I eventually made peace with, I'm not going to convince her. So I have one of two options. Either just call it quits.
Yeah.
And just admit defeat. Or go behind her back and just fucking buy it anyways.
That's what I would have done.
One has ramifications. The other one just makes me seem like a bitch. Yeah. I went with the bitch option. And at the same time, was thinking of ways to like do shit to the 2020 Escape, like put a train horn in it and shit like that.
Right.
So then her dad shows up. He's showing the car to somebody. And Haley opens up the window, is talking to him through the window. And he comes over. And I was like, I want it. He was like, I knew you would. Tell you what, I'll go down this much for it. And I was like, dude, I'm not the one you need to convince. Yeah. Talk to your daughter. Talk to your daughter. I would pay $3,000 more for it.
Yeah.
And so they go back and forth. I'm up here streaming because my heart's already broken.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not getting it. It's like a little kid when you see a puppy. You're like, I'm not fucking getting it.
Yeah.
It's fucking bullshit.
So then Haley comes up. She goes, fine. So I'm getting it for less than what I said.
Yeah.
I can't say it on stream.
Right. Yep.
But for those who are interested, hang on, I gotta send the pictures to Haley so I can show you guys. Oh fuck, I can't, because everything's. If I change one thing in Discord, your camera's gonna disappear and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll have it set up so the next stream I can show you guys. I am super fucking excited because growing up, so like me, I'm not a huge car person. I'm the guy that pops the hood and goes, "Yep, that's an engine." You know, see a pop tire and be like, "Oh, there's your problem right there." There's a hole.
Can I segue real quick?
Yeah.
So when I went to go buy my first car in the fleet, you have to take an NCO with you, right?
Okay.
So he can approve that you're not getting fucked by the dealer, basically.
Oh, you guys are so nice to each other.
Well, it's just so many privates have bought Mustangs for $25,000 with 17% interest rate and all that other bullshit. But so he comes with me, and I know this guy pretty well, and I open the hood, and I'm right next to the dealer, and I know a little bit about engines to know like what I'm looking at, and he comes around the corner, dead fucking serious, just looks right at the dealer's face, and he goes, I see it does have an engine, doesn't it? And then just like slowly fades back into the garage. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And the dealer's just like, he's like looking at me, like looking me up and down. And he's like, who did you bring? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know this guy. He's some stranger that drove me here. I don't know him. It was such a great moment because he's just like, yep, engine. Okay, bye. Just fucking dipset.
Love it.
When I bought the car, he's like, so does it run? I'm like, yeah, you're in it. We're driving. Are you fucking stupid? He's like, nah, I just wanted to make sure it ran. You're here. We're getting Del Taco in my car.
I miss that. I miss Del Taco.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I miss Del Taco.
But yeah, so
Yeah, sorry.
with my minimal experience with vehicles, my mom's second husband, he built his race car literally from scratch.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of sparked it for me. And growing up from then, I always knew GTO.
Yep.
1970, 1971 GTO or the GTO Judge. Fucking stomp on the pedal, go vroom.
Yes.
So that's always kind of been like the car for me. If I was ever buy a classic, GTO was either GTO or GTO Judge, which this one's not a Judge because it doesn't have a tachometer in the hood. That's kind of like, it was weird. Like the tachometer was in the hood, but in front of the driver. So you could keep your eyes straight on the road, but glance down and see the tachometer.
Yeah.
Which was cool until you got in someplace foggy and moisture got behind the fucking lens. Then you couldn't see it anymore. But back then it was considered cool.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have that, and it doesn't have the 455 engine. So that's...
What does it have?
400.
Okay.
So that was literally the only difference between the GTO and the GTO Judge. That and the fucking sticker on the side that said the Judge.
Judge, yeah. Which is what anybody wants.
Yeah. So when I saw that he bought it, I told him, I'm your favorite son. You're going to have to let me drive that. And he's like, yeah, anytime. And now he's talking about selling it. And so I had to jump on it.
I would have jumped on it.
Yeah. Well, it was you, Galahad, fucking everybody in Discord was just like, dude, fucking buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had the opportunity to buy one that was classic, I would have bought it immediately.
Yeah. And I mean, it's got less than 100,000 miles on it. I think it's 73,000 for a car that's over 40 years old.
Yeah. The Honda I have has more than that.
Yeah. My first car, a 99 Chevy Lumina, had more fucking miles. It had 100,000 more miles than it, to be honest. And
it's just...
I was an idiot and drove it across country and surprisingly didn't break down until I got home.
The thing with old cars, so I've always had a thing about old cars. If I can ever get my hands on one, then it's never going to get driven, but I want to be seen in it. Because it's just like it's rolling around in a piece of history. And I'm a big history guy. And it's just like you're in a living piece of history.
Yep.
And no matter what you do, as long as you don't put it into a wall or paint it like pink or something, then it's going to be a classic forever. And they go up in value every year that they're out.
Yeah, as soon as I do. So when I was on the phone while you were sitting in here waiting for me so we could start the podcast, he held me hostage on the phone for like 15 minutes telling me everything about it. He's like, okay, so the orange isn't the original color like I thought. It was actually blue. But the guy that repainted it didn't do it right. And then he's like, yeah, there's this and this and this. So if you take care of these things, it's going to go up by like $3,000 in value, like that. And then as long as you don't, like you said, put it through a wall, fucking flip it, which flip a GTO, that'd take a fucking, that'd be a task. But yeah, that was the big news I wanted to end this on. I'm super fucking excited. It's like I feel like just a kid in a candy store right now. Just like, like Christmas morning when I got that toy that I asked my mom for 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're going to get it. You're just going to go sit inside of it for like
That's what I did after she told me.
Yeah.
After I dropped her off at work, dropped Ari off at her grandma's, I came here and I sat in the GTO just like.
It has the original seats in it, right?
Yep. Everything's original in it.
It has the bench seating in the front, right? Or is
no.
it a bucket?
No, it's not bench seats in the front. It's bench seats in the back.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, is it original leather or did it get reupholstered?
I think it's the original leather.
Is it cracking yet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I would have to double check.
Yeah.
I was too busy molesting the steering wheel.
I would have been sitting. So I would have been out in the driveway, just with it on, and every couple minutes just pressing the gas and then letting it go and be like, "Yep." Everybody, look at me. Just honking the horn at people that drive by. Like, you see this? It's mine.
It's mine.
I have.
That's what I was feeling when I was when I dropped Haley off at work. At school, and I was driving it back, and I could see all the boomers fucking looking at me like.
Not you have to dye your hair like blue or something.
Oh God.
And just no hat, blue with like a blue beard, and be like, "What are you gonna do?
Deal with it.
You can't have it. It's mine. I own it."
All right. I sent A pictures so I can show it on stream. Show it to the. Here we go.
Okay.
Whoop. Yeah. So the paint's kind of cracking like eggshells right here. That's because it wasn't done properly.
Right.
It's doing the same thing here. The spoiler, you can see the fiberglass in the spoiler right here.
Yeah.
This window is actually this is the original window. The reason I know is it's in with butyl. So butyl is so back in the 70s and 80s, it was like this. It comes in a roll, and you stick it on, and then you just stick the window to it, which was good enough back then. Because this is a vehicle that only with the seatbelt, it's just a lap seatbelt. You know, that seatbelt was only there to kind of keep your body in the vehicle. It's
to cut you in half.
Yeah, but yeah. So this is the original window. Unfortunately, it is cracked. I was hoping I could repair it, but the cracks are going all the way down to the edge. So it's compromised. So luckily, I work for Safelight, so I can get a discount on the windshield if we can find it. So I got to pull this trim off without breaking it. Scrub it down, make sure it's nice. Pull the window out. Take out all the fucking butyl, which is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yep.
And then just pray that there's no rust in the pinch weld. Pinch weld is basically it's the area that is affected by the install. So it's a platform of metal like that.
Yeah.
And then the glue sits on top of that, and then the windshield squishes down on top of the glue.
Right.
And if you cut that as a Safelight technician, that's how you get suspended for 3 days with no pay.
It sounds like I would do that just so I get a vacation.
Right. I'm getting close to that, to be honest.
All the other windows are good?
Yeah. None of the other windows are cracked. But in order to treat, when we sand this down, everything's going to have to come out of it.
Yeah.
So I might wait to replace the window till we start fucking sanding it and shit.
Yeah, when you start pulling doors and shit off.
There's to be expected in Wisconsin and Minnesota, right down here on the edges of the doors, it's rusting pretty bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can just grind it down and then maybe weld.
Yeah.
Just fix it.
You could throw, it depends on how much material is left, you could throw a nice little weld on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I now have 8 minutes to go get my kid. So
we're
going to wrap this up. So thank you, everybody, for coming to this first episode. Like I said at the beginning, this is kind of a proof of concept. Not every single episode of this podcast is going to be us talking about military and stuff like that. It just so happened to be that. Kauffodile, actually, last night when we talked about this, we were talking about covering more shit, like our childhoods and shit like that. So maybe next episode, Kauffodile, like, as far as, like, guests and stuff like that, there's going to be repeating guests. Kauffodile, with us being as cool as we are, we can literally just sit here and talk for fucking hours. Like, just to put this in perspective, Kauff, we're almost 2 hours in.
No, we're not.
Yeah. Yeah, the streams, the timer is 1:51. Just sitting here bullshitting about the military.
Yeah.
and complaining. So
Holy.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. I don't know how frequent these are going to be yet. I might schedule it for like every Sunday or maybe every 2 days. It really just depends. So thank you guys so much for watching. That's our time. We have to get out of here. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Peace.
Bye.